All right, hey everybody, Grant here again. I'm going to rebuild the seals on my American Forge Foundry 350SS floor jack. It's been leaking for years and years. I bought the repair kit years ago, and finally last weekend it quit on me. I had to completely fill it full of jack oil, and I didn't even feel safe getting in the car to put the jack stands under it. I had to borrow a friend's jack, and I said, that's it. I'm finally going to fix this thing so I can use my jack again. Here we go. Let's get started. I think it'll be an easy project. It's a bunch of O-rings and seals and stuff, so let's go for it. Okay, here's all the tools we're going to need. We're going to need some grease. We're certainly going to need some hydraulic jack oil. Looks very premium to me. I hope so. Hammer, some big pliers, big channel locks, snap ring pliers to squeeze them open, some regular pliers, some punches. I did end up using a 19mm wrench. Got a 3/8 inch drive, 1/2 inch drive ratchets there. Main sockets, 19mm, 27mm. You can also use the SAE equivalents. I did need an extension there. This is a 5/32 hex key. You can use a 3mm as well. Some screwdrivers. I think a Phillips screwdriver too will probably need. A punch. Your choice of impact wrenches. My go-to will probably be the air one on some of these because this one's a little dated. I will tell you while we're here talking about tools, this pick, doesn't matter if it's snap-on or otherwise, but the shape of this pick, this is my go-to pick for 99.99% of everything. I hardly ever, and I mean ever, reach for the other three. I have a straight one, I have a 90, and I have a hook one with a full J hook on it. But I'm telling you, I love this pick with all the angles on it. I can get anywhere I need, and like, you got to have one of these picks. This one, if you really care about the snap-on, if you want to snap-on, which certainly is a good one, there's the model number. And let's see, you're probably going to need a lot of rags. I'm thinking this is going to be messy. And I think we're going to need some kind of penetrating oil and some more penetrating oil. Got a good friend, Amsoil dealer. I love the metal protector. It's great for penetrating as well. And let's see. I did use a wrench a little bit. This is the standard 1 16th. This is the 27mm as well. We'll probably use that too. Have it on hand just in case. And let's go. Here's my repair kit. Like I said, this is an AFF 350SS, American Forge Foundry. Hopefully this has everything I need in it. Really, I hope it has more than I need in it because there's a ton of stuff in here. I'm already recognized there's the main seal. There's a whole nother bleed screw. That's nice with a seal on it. Getting excited to get this thing done. I didn't make a video of the disassembly process. It's fairly straightforward. First, remove the two rear casters, the rear caster on both sides. Then remove the bolt on both sides, the nut actually, on both sides at the very lower rear corner. And that's on a threaded rod, goes from one side to the other. Take both nuts off from both sides. Behind where the caster is located is another bolt that holds the power unit in. We're going to get to that next. After the threaded rod, go to the top bolt that holds the whole handle assembly, the triangular shape that the handle goes in to pump it up. Those are separate bolts on each side. Take each of those out. Be careful about the spring. It comes out on the left side. And then now go to the bolts on the power unit. They're the ones behind the caster, one on each side, of course. Take those out. And at this point, now you can lift up the frame of the jack and leave the power unit on the table. Lift up the frame, slide the power unit back, and there are two snap rings connecting the front of the power unit, the bar. It's the bar with the springs attached and the top of the power unit piston. Take those two snap rings off from the large black bars, and then now you have removed the power unit from the jack frame itself. You don't have to touch anything else on the frame, and now we go in here and we're working on the power unit itself. Okay, I'm still here working on my AFF American Forge and Foundry 350SS floor jack. And you can see here I've got the bottle jack part out now. So I'm getting down, I've already drained all the hydraulic, or as much of the hydraulic fluid out as I could there. And then here, the two pumpers I pulled off. These are the top pieces that go on there. You can see they each have a roll pin that hold them on. All right, then you pull the cap off, the spring here, and you can see where the roll pin goes in through there. So you have to get a little pressure on it while you're taking it off. But it comes off pretty easily, no problems there. Mine's not 50 years old, so it's not too bad. All right, take both those caps off over here. Pull the pins out of the way. All right, both the springs come right off. There's a washer on here. The washer's off. All right, and here's the bypass, so you can raise and lower it. Some Allen key here. It's a 5/32 Allen key. This holder comes off next. And you spin this out. And I've actually already gotten this out, and I'll show you why that's important here in a second. There's a seal on this we'll be replacing. Here's the ball bearing that was inside there. It's right inside the hole here where this came out of, so be careful of that when you're pulling it out. All right, and then next we're going to take these off, each of these off. This one was actually fine for me. It was not leaking, but you can see a little remnants of oil on there where this one was leaking, and this one is pretty dry there. Is dry completely, actually. Since I got to take this other one off and replace this seal, I'm going to go ahead and take this one off too. I'm not at this point planning to take any of these out. I haven't seen any evidence that they were leaking from there, so I'm going to leave them in place. For now, I may change my mind on that before I get this thing put back together. Now I'm going to try and get the main plunger out of the housing. I was able to use a pair of big channel locks. This wasn't as tight as I thought it was going to be. It came right off with only a slight bit of persuasion there. Spin this off all the way. Notice you got a seal in the top there, and then you got a seal on the bottom as well. All right, two seals there. I'm going to use a punch, pull this out. Easy does it. All right, pops that off. And I've actually already taken this off. There's a snap ring here on the bottom. It's right around there, holding that seal in place. And I am going to use this to get this seal all the way off. And I've got that seal all the way out now. This O-ring was inside of it, and the O-ring was pointed down when I took it off. So the flat of the plastic here was up against the rest of the piston. Okay, quick hit with my air impact wrench, and I got both of these off. Interesting, they're two different sizes. A little larger, a little smaller, and different seals on them as well. Got some extra, I don't know, different kind of seals anyway, extra ones there. Oh, all right, this is completely apart. Well, this whole assembly's not off, but it wants to stay on there pretty good. I don't think it was leaking from there, so I am gonna leave it on there. I don't know, I might whistle some more. Like I said, I'm not interested in working on these four right now. I think they're fine. If I have to come back to those later, then I'll deal with it then. But anyway, other than that, this is a part. I've got some brake parts cleaner. I'm gonna spray out in here. Make sure this is nice and clean in here and all the passageways. And then I'm going to start putting some new seals on. This is the whole, here's pretty much everything laid out. Let's see there, the handle, everything laid out. Wheels, I'm re-greasing the bearings in here as well. I think that's it right now. I found the problem over here, why this one was leaking. I don't know if you can see it. Yep, you can see it right there. There it is. You can see that seal split. That bottom seal. See, it's good there. Top one's good. There it is. The bottom one's split right there. Again, hard to see on in the video, but it is definitely split. No question at all. I'm getting ready to put the seals back on the bottom of the plunger. Look carefully, you got to get this white, this clear, translucent kind of seal. You got to get it over that second lip. If you look in there closely, you'll see the line, and that is a lip that's slightly larger right here. Okay, this, see there's a lip right there. Right there, you got to get this piece around that lip before you put it down so it'll seat all the way. And then you can drop in this O-ring on top and then the clip as well. Okay, we'll put back together here. Got the clear transparent cup seal on, the cup holder on there. Got the black O-ring in, and then got the clip on there as well. You know, with these, always make sure that you can spin them freely once you're done. All right, and this is ready to go. There are 3 items you got to replace on the top cover here. You got this gasket, kind of a hard plastic material. It cracked when I took it off. It was all there together before. And you got an O-ring that goes over the gasket. I'll show you that when I'm done. And you got an O-ring goes inside that groove as well. I've got the piston all back together now. The cap went on great. I put a little hydraulic oil on the inside of this seal here and on the piston as well. I did not put any oil on this. When I put it in, it didn't look like it needed any there. And then I checked out the piston. It moves pretty freely. I can't quite pull it up without using the punch. Looking good here. Now I'm going to move on and put these on the back, I think, next. Got new crush washers that can go in there. And then I'll move on to removing those old seals and replacing them with new seals. Seals are replaced now. Got the right sequence here with the rubber and the plastic or whatever they are. O-rings. They're actually the white ones are actually split rings. And then the O-rings on the larger one. New crush washers in there, and I'll be putting these in and tighten them down. I'll put the caps back on these plungers. First, pull the plunger out all the way and do that. This ring goes on the bottom first. Then the spring goes on, and the cap, and then this. I started the roll pin already, and then I'm going to finish it off. This isn't too hard to hold down. They get lined up while you're hammering the roll pin. And then the same thing for the getting close to a finished product. Everything's back on the back here. I'm not putting this in just yet. Got the springs on. Got them hooked onto the front. Got the cotter pin in there. Looking good here. Got the jack. I'm going to slide it in there and put this thing together. These are the 2 clips. Hold it on in there, and then those two bolts go in. I've got most of it back together now. I got the whole pump section back in. I started out, had it ready, and then I picked up the jack body itself, and I had to lift up the arm a little bit. I picked up the jack, and then I slid the pump mechanism in. There's two snap rings. I put those in first, and then lined up, and there's one bolt in each side. Got those in. I got to make sure all that's tight, and then I'm going to put this in and put the arm on there. It's right down here. Put that on, and it's the casters, and then it's fill it with fluid. I'll be back in business. I need to grease this too as well. I did take off the front wheels. I put a little grease in there, and I am repacking the bearings and the casters as well. Let's see, any other tips? It went back in pretty smooth. There's a bar here. You have to put this tube in first, and then you slide in the threaded rod after that. I got everything tight so far under here for the whole pump assembly is tight. This is tight. Now we're going to start working on this. Here is the ball that goes in there. Drop it right in here. All right. It's in there now, nice and shiny. And then this goes on top of it. I'm going to change the seal and screw it right in. Okay, next up, that last seal that I was talking about right inside here, actually that was an O-ring, of course, not a seal. Anyway, I got that put in, I got it replaced, got the whole swivel there installed as well, put the bracket on, and it's the retaining cover. This won't let you unscrew it too far out when you're releasing the jack. Then I put the handle assembly holder on here, tighten both of these up on both sides, and put some grease inside each of these sections on both sides here, and then in here as well. Still see a little grease that's running out there. I'm going to clean that up a little bit more, and let's see from there in. I got the casters. I repacked the bearings inside the casters on both sides. Got everything tightened up. I didn't touch either of these bolts. Didn't touch those. Tighten this. Tighten the ones under here that hold the power unit. Tighten these. Tighten these on both sides. Okay, got everything going, and then filled up the fluid. I'm happy with the fluid level now. It works great. It pumps up great, comes down. It's all very smooth. I'm gonna wipe it down some more. Try and get all the jack oil that I spilled off there. There's still a little remainder here and there in different places. I'm gonna try and get all that, and then pump it up a little bit more a couple times tonight, and let it sit and check it tomorrow for leaks. Also, I'm going to grease this a little bit. Hadn't greased that in a while, and I cleaned up a lot of the excess grease. You can see some in there. I'm happy. Overall, it was really easy. Different stuff. I've never worked with a floor jack like this taken apart. But again, this is American Forge Foundry 350SS, the 3.5 ton double pumper. You can read all that. And model number back there, 350SS. And I think that's it. It was a great project. I'm thrilled. The last thing I'll be to put this cover on. Geez, I took this cover off, I think 2 years ago, and I haven't had it on since then, since it started leaking fluid, and I would have to add fluid every few times when I went to use it. I am thrilled to be able to put that cover back on and get this thing cleaned up and put it back in its usual spot where I used to keep it. And now I can keep it over there again without it, hopefully, knock on wood, without it dripping jack oil everywhere after I use it every time. That's it. Got any questions? Let me know. Any other tips that I missed, feel free to put in the comments. Let's see, I'm going to move that over just a little bit back to where it used to be. Get back on its previous mark. All right. Sweet. Catch everybody in the next video.